Malawi and boy.
Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome. Sorry I took a bit of time. I was on another stream, but I said as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna come here. Look, it was Crystal Palace versus Man City. Obviously the game ended 4-2. It could have been more goals from City, and we could have gone top of the league because of the goal difference. But obviously Crystal Palace scored 2 goals, 2 very easy goals in my opinion. We're going to talk about KDB because I know when I did my preview, I said KDB has to be on the bench. I still hold on to that. So I'm going to explain that in a minute. Obviously, KDB has got 100 goals for City this and in the Prem now. And also, we're going to talk about the counters, where Man City is easily being counted in this season, and it's making it very, very, very easy for opposition to score. Obviously, Crystal Palace scored within 3 minutes, and they've got a new manager who they're trying to play expansive football. To be honest with you, we'll talk. For now, guys, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. There's a comment here by Brian saying, Patrick, for 6 seasons, 90% of the teams we face sat back and countered. Yeah, they countered, but we handled the counters better. I remember. Let me bring in my boy Veta here. Bear with me for a minute. Let me bring in Veta for a minute. Bear with me for a minute. Wait. Yeah. Okay, so I remember before, right? We had one advantage before. The advantage we had before is when people count us. I'm responding to this by thing. Well, there's my man Veta coming in, even doing a bit of skills. My man Veta is doing a bit of skills before he comes in. So let me answer this. I said, I remember we used to get counted 2017, and the counters used to look this messy. If you remember, our 2017 team could score more goals, but we could ship goals. And that's the issue we had in the Champions League, where Man City were being knocked out of Champions Leagues because against Monaco, for example, we were easy to get through the middle. Forward to the other Pep teams after 2017, 2018. I know we were Centurion. It was amazing. Very good record. Pep decided to control the midfield. Our games were more controlled. We used to win and not let people counter us so easy. We'll break the counters before they get there. Then now I am looking at our team. It reminded me of 2017 Champions League, 2017 Prem, where yes, we could win 7-5, but I didn't like that. I didn't like winning 7-5 because that's the same 7-5 that got us knocked out in Champions League multiple times, and sometimes these games used to be basketball games. So all I'm saying is we've gone to a point where, yes, teams sit back. We know the counters, but the counters are much easier now. I don't know if Veta being disingenuous. It's just I'm telling people that that's the reason why I keep making that point, that he controlled the counters. Maybe it goes back to me now, where last season everybody was telling me that there's a point why Jack Grealish is in the team is to control the ball because you want that midfield controlled. So it goes back to me now. I wanted expansive football. Now I've got it. I'm now complaining. So as a fan, you never be satisfied.
No, but see, you bring up a good point, and everyone, if you're tuning in right now, just tuning in, you're watching on a replay, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. No, you're absolutely right. But the thing that's funny, us as City fans, is there's a counter to everything. There's a plus and a minus. There's feedback. There's a reaction. So when we do play, let's say that transitional or quick pace game, we concede something. And then if we play the controlled game, we concede something else, right? So there's you can never be complete and do everything perfectly because there's always a counter. But I think it's also because these are still kind of like early days when I say that for the club because of the transition of players that left. Like, I mean, we're always going to have funny conversation on the football terrace, and things will always angle in terms of United versus City at some point. But when they want to remind us that we lost Gundogan or lost Mahrez, and you and I, we watched the Together Trouble. Yes, Mahrez didn't have the most games played last season, but he played within the rotation with regards to, especially with the FA Cup or even maybe the the dead leg draws that we had in Champions League, but he was still there. And Gundogan, listen, he was so important. So when you have those players gone, there's going to be that miss in the midfield, that miss in terms of controlling and preventing transitions against us. It doesn't fully fall to Jack, but I think the system as a whole. The 2017 days, listen, that's what, year 2 for Pep?
Yeah,
so you know what I mean? So that's year 2 for Pep. So even the midfield and everybody being gelled, it wasn't quite there yet. So to be caught on certain transition, but playing so attacking, I think Pep is going to bring that all to. This is why I'm so excited for next season. This is all bonus, Patrick. This is bonus for us this year. I think next season, it's probably going to be what you get. It's that transition, and it's going to be that control, and we move from there. But listen, this game was so key.
Yeah,
I love what I saw from everybody. Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, if Holland, Alvarez. I know we're still kind of like, why is Pep doing this? But we need to have this rotation, and if he does it, he does it, man. I wish it was 4-1 instead of 4-2, but hey.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, because look, this is the thing. Am I still on mute? You can't hear me.
You're good now.
Well, you can't hear me.
For a second, I didn't hear you, but you're good.
Yeah. But this is what I keep saying, that it's football fans. This is what it is. We will pick up certain things, nitpick certain things. It's just that I knew from the beginning that we're going to concede with this lineup. We know, as City fans, we have to get used by now. This lineup will make me concede within a few seconds if the other team is clinical, which happened. As I said, there was chances for Crystal Palace, and there's a Crystal Palace fan who wrote it, and he's one of my friends, and he's very good. He has got a Crystal Palace channel. He said, if we were very good at finishing, this manager we have, the new one, is actually helping us create chances. The way we're attacking is actually great. Eze was actually nice, even though he was hooked out. I think Eze and Olise will go to other teams. So no hate towards Crystal Palace, but I'm pretty sure Eze and Olise, I think, are capable of playing the top 6 teams. It's just Rodri, when we go with De Bruyne, because De Bruyne, right? There was a De Bruyne who used to be defensive. Remember? There was one De Bruyne who used to track back a lot. He would run and still run. But I'm not looking for a 34-year-old, 33-year-old De Bruyne to start doing that after he's got an injury. Alvarez, he will run, but I've noticed that my friend Carl once said, big up to Carl, he was in Manchester, and I'm pretty sure right now he's resting up. He told me that Alvarez lacks a first touch, and I was arguing with him. He does actually lack a first touch, and his first touch is not a midfielder's first touch. Because don't get me wrong, Alvarez through on goal, he will do the first touch as a striker where he touches it a bit.
His first touch is for him to be able to release a shot, not necessarily
in midfield. Yeah, in midfield you need midfielders know I have to hold my body like this. See Kovacic, he holds his body. If he gives me a bit of a nudge, I'll fall. But if not, I'll hold the ball. David Silva, the way Gundogan would wait for you and then roll you like this. Those are midfielders. That's why I'm saying there's a difference of player profile. That's why I knew that maybe Pep looked at this game and he's like, I'm going to put Alvarez, KDB. Crystal Palace will sit back. They will sit so back, they won't have a threat. But that threat is dangerous because Crystal Palace does this to us all the time. Somehow, they have players who are nice on the ball. What I mean, like they know how to just pick these passes. And the issue with Crystal Palace is, unlike other teams, today they were bad, but sometimes they finish. They have finishers that who can still finish. Yeah,
Patrick, past seasons, and I'm so glad. I've always rated him, but Zaha being gone, I was like, thank you, because when there's Zaha, oh my, like I could only imagine what he would have done today. But Zaha, Olise, Eze, like, listen, when they were in their flow, they're dangerous. And that first goal, man, I'm not killing Ortega, because for how he was being run down on, and again, that was pinpoint accurate. It hit that post and went in. But it's like just being dialed in, because you know if we have any slip of the ball in midfield on their half, they're just going to try to loop it and give their striker a chance to run onto it. So I think they just hit us with like a perfect counter. But, and I saw you smiling on the football terrace, the fact that they chose to be that attacking, when Arsenal fans were so upset for us to say, like, listen, yeah, you got your draw, we understand it. All we're saying is we expected you to be a little more attacking. We saw it today. Because honestly, when they were on the front end to attack, they had very good chances. Jordan,
very good. Yeah.
Jordan hitting that crossbar, Patrick, I was yelling so much because I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. But now when they concede goals in the and we're pressuring them in the final 18, I don't want to hear any Arsenal fan criticize the final score in terms of a 4-2.
Yeah.
Because if they're
Yeah.
conceding goals and we're in their 18-yard box, that's not them being open and expansive. That's actually us just being
Yeah.
clinical or getting the shot off, right? KDB's shot, that's in the
Yeah.
18-yard box. That's a perfect angle. It's not because Crystal Palace let themselves open. The only point, and again, play how you want to play Arsenal. Arteta set up however you want. But I think they missed the chance to really attack us and get 3 points versus 1.
Yeah, they did. Let's be honest. It's just that people will never like even Arsenal fans won't agree to it, and nobody really wanted. But let's talk about this man, Jack Grealish, because I have been putting pressure on this man for so long.
Yeah.
But during this game, a lot of people were writing things, and then I sat down and said he was really impressive today, Veta. Like if you watched him, um, it's him who created, I think, 3 or 4 of the chances that we
Yep.
scored today. But it's the way he played. He was unplayable. At first, let's be honest, in the first minutes of the game, Jack was pocketed by the Crystal Palace guy. The guy was, I think, getting into him because I think Josko and Jack was not working. And obviously, we'll talk about Akanji walking on. But when Akanji came on, Akanji was more stable, showing him support. Jack became unplayable. And he's the guy, believe it or not, as much as KDB gets the flowers today, I think Jack deserves all the flowers and the applause because I think Jack took the game by the scruff of the neck.
I have to agree with you. And it's 2 games in a row now that Jack being very direct, very very impactful, right? And he knows it's just he knows when he's got a defender on the ropes. Like he knows how to angle his body, how to keep that ball so close to foot and have that defender guessing or that second defender comes into hell. But I'm surprised he didn't get credited for the KDB assist because I thought he had given it to KDB and KDB got into position to score, but maybe I don't know why that didn't register. But he deserves to have similar criticism to what Doku gets in the sense of calm down, Jack, when you want to shoot. He in terms of like trying to get the assist, getting others involved. Doku's learning that. But when it's between both players on that left-hand side, calm the heck down. Because Jack got into position and it's like he just shot it as opposed to placing it. That's the one thing that many, and I think Gunnalorian's one of them, he's like, Jack, I just need a little more, man. I want you to be a scoring threat. I see what you do in terms of the build-up, but I need a little more in terms of scoring. He had a great game, and you were right to point it out and say that he was maybe an unsung hero in this game.
Yeah, that is true. And to be honest with you, as I said, the only thing we had is and that's what I can say. Like, I don't want to hate on Julian Alvarez. He did look a bit lost sometimes in this game. He did look like lost, and it's not his fault because he's been asked to play into that midfield role. But okay, before we move away from Jack, I'll talk about anybody else. What about Rico Lewis? Because I said, and I admitted during this preview, I said I thought, according to me, I was like, Lewis, he's not ready. He's not ready to play the senior football. But he's proving me wrong, and I have to just swallow my pride and say Lewis is proving me wrong. He looks like he's ready to play as a senior. But where would you see him? Because do we see him as a fullback? Because he said in his interview after the game that he prefers himself as a midfielder. So how do we handle that now? Because that's what he said. He said they asked him, what do you prefer? He said, I prefer myself as more of a midfielder than that's what he said, than the right back.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can play in the midfield if it's in that similar John Stones role, like if it's that inverted partnered with a Rodri or double pivot in the sense. But him solely as a right back, I do worry about it, depending on who would be supporting him at center backs, right? Like, I think he might be 1 or 2 years out in terms of building strength. I don't know if he can improve on his quickness, but not so much like speed, but just quickness in terms of reaction.
Physicality, yeah. Because we've seen Roberto Carlos. We have short guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
We have seen Roberto Carlos. That's what somebody told me. He's like, Patrick, I'm not saying I think the kid is talented, but I think he can actually get used by being thrown away. He can get used to physicality because we have seen people like better calls. We've seen people like Lamptey, remember, play 4-back, while Chelsea thought Lamptey was too small to play 4-back.
And I think the again, I wouldn't have been killing for his size. I think he's okay. It's just a matter of him maybe adding a little strength, maybe reading the game, because again, if he feels most comfortable in the midfield, there's also less attacking threat. If you're the right back, you need to be dialed in, and we think of some great left wingers that are out there. So I'd rather see him inverted for now. Who's going to be Walker's replacement when that time comes? Who knows? But if it's a Kanji playing right back for this season, and Rico maybe going into that role when the Stones is maybe dropped or unavailable, I wouldn't be stressing. I wouldn't be stressing like I might have or have early in the season. I think he's earned it.
Yeah. On that note, guys, keep liking the video and subscribe to Veda Games, and Veda will obviously shout at the end if he's got any shows. Now what am I going to do about this man? Because what are you going to do about this man? Because this man here, like, we've had number 2s at City and it's been peak. Most of the number 2s have been shipped out. Some were good, then they made mistakes, and people were like, nah. But this man, apparently those rumors that last season Pep wanted, because of Edison. Remember, Edison was messing up at the beginning of the season a lot. Pep wanted to make this guy the number 1 before Edison stepped up and woke up and gave us those amazing performances. But this man is just, I know the first goal, there's nothing you can do. He tried, he stretched his leg, but I think Mateta put it way, way far from him. But I don't know what else you can do about this man, because this guy, my God, his positioning is incredible. His distribution has become great at the point where in recent games, I don't even feel like, oh, it's Ortega in goal. Is it just me? I just feel like
I think it's just you.
And what he did today, come on, what he did today, I was like,
no way. What he did, I had to rub my eyes, and I was like, oh, that is Ortega, because that was an Ederson move with regards to what he did. Usually, our second keepers leave because they're falling off, or they're not quite at the level. I think this is going to be an instance where we're going to lose this player because he's that good. We're going to lose him because he actually deserves to be a number 1 somewhere.
And would you hate on that? I don't think we would.
No, we can't hate on it, man.
Any of the top teams right now will take him.
Yeah, we can't hate on it right now. I think it's just one of those where we enjoy it while it lasts. The fact that he stepped up with Ederson being hurt is huge. And I think it's been the case for many keepers, right? Like, you look at what's happening over at Liverpool. Like, Kelleher has many Liverpool fans feeling comfortable even with Alisson being out for the stretch that he had. So Ortega's been phenomenal. He kept us in this game. He kept us in this game because being poor position, like you mentioned, it would have been tight and stressed and possibly a draw instead of the win that we got.
It could have. A lot of lack of control comes down to the extra attacking responsibilities Rodri is taking. That is true. Rodri can't do everything. He needs help. I understand your KDB take, but I think it's an overreaction of a small sample size of average poor performances. No, I'm not trying to say, don't get me wrong. This is where City fans get me wrong. I'm not trying to say KDB is done and dusted. I was saying, in certain moments, I was just saying we look more comfortable in midfield. And it's just that, it's the fact that I want Foden. Like, sometimes Foden needs to take the rings. This thing where, bring KDB, Foden has to be on the side. I just think this is going towards Rodri and Foden's team. It happens in life. Trust me, it hurts. Yaya Toure, I never thought Yaya, I'll ever say Yaya has to go. Yaya was my player. Yaya Toure was my player. David Silva, man. David Silva, we've seen players in this team. Good teams, man. Like, there's been players in this team, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me go back to another comment. Rico Ruiz, best game attacking-wise. Yeah, it's been good, yeah. I think Pep likes the way Alvarez works quick to the ball, works quick to get the ball back high up the pitch. Let me be honest with you. I think Pep just loves Alvarez. I don't say Alvarez is a bad player, but I think Pep just loves Alvarez, that he finds a place for him. Because let me tell you somebody, I think Nunes is capable of also winning the ball back quick like that. Do you get my point? Even Nunes is that fast. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
John Stones stepped forward after losing the ball. John Stones didn't have a great game today, if I'm being honest. John Stones, Ruben Diaz, especially a few moments. Ruben Diaz was not that great. The touch from Ortega, Rodri laid it off. And you know
Yeah,
what?
that Rodri layoff for KDB was nasty. That was
Yeah, it
so good.
was. It was. That's the thing. You know what I'm thinking. Do you see this thing where Pep is like Bruno Guimaraes, or maybe he was looking for Rice or somebody? I have a feeling that it's not Rodri to continue holding all the time. I think he wants to release Rodri. I think he wants to have a
Yes.
Bruno, because this Bruno Guimaraes thing, I knew it, and you know what? I said it like a joke. I said, "Oh, Crystal Palace 100 million is close on Bruno Guimaraes. You've just given him to City." I said it when it happened. Somehow, in my head, I was like, "You're giving it to City." I was like, "It's
Okay.
just perfect." City just love to get into your club. They don't want to talk to anybody but your player, and your player pays off. I just feel like when I look at Bruno, we need him. He reminds me of Fernandinho. Yes, nasty. He gets
Yeah.
he puts it on,
Yeah.
and that's why, and people hate him for that. But he gets away with the red yellow cards, same as
Yeah.
Fernandinho. And I
Very
think
true.
maybe Pep wants this Bruno and Paqueta thing, because people say Paqueta when he comes in, but Paqueta plays wings. You know that Paqueta
Yeah.
actually plays as a winger sometimes. He
He's
plays as
played
a
winger.
winger,
He's played false
10,
nine.
deep,
It's
deep. He plays everywhere. So okay, so it says Rodri laid it off. Yeah, Rodri also needed rest today. I think he did. It says Rico.
yeah. I like the timing of when Rodri got subbed off. By the way, I think
Yeah,
Pep
he did.
managed the players really well today
You
because we got
see,
a
that
big
says
week.
you see Bruno Guimaraes to do the dirty work. It might need that, and trust
Yeah.
me, I think telling Rodri that Rodri knowing that there's somebody who is capable of sweeping the defense, I can play. I think that would be trouble for Moss, because with his
Yeah.
body and when he starts dribbling, people would struggle to get the ball off him. And look at the assists. Have you noticed that Rodri's assists are clean and nice? People don't get them. They're
No, that
clean and nice.
and this is the thing. Like I know that we kind of went off on a little tangent because everybody reacts to Professor Hamza, but Rodri has had to be like so dialed in terms of reading the game defensively and looking to how to unlock some of these low, nasty blocks that we come
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
And he's been amazing. And again, to your
And
point, it's
remember what the documentarians keep saying, that Rodri is such a sore loser, so he doesn't want to lose. He's so
no,
competitive.
he's so
So I
competitive.
think I think that's why he leaves the back when he sees things are not working out. I think that's why Rodri leaves the back. I think he wants to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm not losing. You've seen
Yeah,
when he loses. You've seen when we concede. He shouts in that midfield.
yeah. No, and I think not that it's motivating him, but I think it's one of those things where it keeps him focused. All the players know about his streak, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, listen, let's all be on. We're playing. Let's continue this, and the non-losing streak for me is important in terms of like it keeps everyone playing at a high level, and I think they're for it. Rodri, man, for a game with a few poor passes, you always see how important he is, though. You always see, and
Yeah.
this is why we stress we need him rested. I was watching this game, and I was like, please no yellow card, and please sub off early. Let me
When
make
when
sure
he
you're rested,
dropped to the floor, I know you were sweating. When he dropped
man.
to the floor, you were
I was
like,
like, get
ah,
off
this.
the pitch, get off the pitch. We need you this
Yeah.
week.
We're joined by Big UK. How did you see the match as a neutral or as an Arsenal fan sitting there before you played Brighton?
I'll be real, yeah. Seeing that game, watched a bit of the first half, and obviously your defensive vulnerabilities. Then obviously I saw you now showing you came back into the game, and then you were just relentless. You didn't stop pushing, and you just and like you had an exceptional game, like wonderful, and leading the City team by example. Yeah, like I feel like him being red, it sort of allowed him to kind of that trees and try and prove a point to Pep.
Yeah, fair. Vita is going. Vita, do you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, man. Listen, always a joy to be able to have the timing work out and jump on your show. I'm Vader Games TV. So you just add the TV to my name, Vader Games TV. Tune in. I'm gonna do a show later on in the week, probably in the middle of Champions League. But the last show, if you can go back, check out the last show. This is what I actually covered in my last show. All the topics are right there on the screen. Go and check it out. Help me get to 500 subs. Humbly growing the channel. And yeah, man, I'm always a pleasure being on. Thanks for having me.
No, big up, man. Big up. The guys, go subscribe to Better Games. Big up, big up. This is a good question. It says, do you think Rodri should be a good one? That's what I'm trying to say. That I think that's why Pep keeps looking at Bruno Guimaraes. I think if you think of a midfielder who can do like the Gundogan work, it's actually Rodri, because Rodri somehow can attack and he's very slick on the ball and can still score clutch goals. So I think I would say if you bring in Bruno Guimaraes as Pep wants, and as I said, Man City level is close. He's close in that. Paqueta is close. That's our specialist. Bring him and then let Rodri cook. I think Rico is the same. Okay, I think Rico is in the same position as Zinchenko in when he is good enough to start some games, but in the squad, but not good enough to start consistently or displace anybody. You're right. You might be right. Start or take off the rest of the season. Yeah, I saw Edison on the bench. We'll see against Madrid. Let Rodri detect and create forward, go forward, and have Bruno to do the dirty work chasing. That would be good. Bruno give me variety vibes, such a baller. Yeah, just variety.
He's more of like a tackler.
Yeah, he is. I think that's what we also need sometimes. I think in this team, that's what I'm saying. If we had somebody who has to do the nasty work, I know people say, "Oh, Bruno Guimaraes is nasty." Fernandinho is nasty. You need a nasty guy sometimes in the team, and let people like Rodri shine. You know what I mean? Let him also shine, because what's happening in our team, Big, is when there is no Gundogan or there's no Kovacic next to Rodri, or a midfielder who's also defensive minded, or Bernardo Silva, Rodri sometimes looks at the game and say, I can create, so he goes in front, isn't it? And leaves the gap. And no matter how good Rodri is, these people are humans. That's the reason why Jorginho was brought in to play next to Rice. That's why Partey played next to Xhaka. You always need this Xhaka and Jorginho guy. You know that, right? In football, you need the Xhakas, the Jorginhos, the Gundogans.
Yeah.
You need these players. So I say Rodri can still play that role also. So that's why I'm saying maybe that's why Pep is looking at Bruno Guimaraes to say, Rodri, when I say we're in trouble sometimes, Bruno, you stay back. Rodri, you go on the attack. That's how most football teams play these days. Yeah. They can say it's just better, Marvin, in some ways, but okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so now that obviously, do you feel that City, based on obviously today, do you think like you actually made so many changes to show that you're prioritizing the Champions League more than at this stage?
I think it's
at this stage of the season.
I think it's just rotation, but also it's just rotation because, first of all, these two guys are rested, De Bruyne and KDB, that have been rested in a few games. So I think he wanted them to warm up in this game, warm up for the Champions League, get ready. It's good to see De Bruyne scoring and assisting, and it's good to see Haaland also getting into full gear. It's also good to see Grealish. So you're right. It was also for the Champions League, but we've rotated, and I think we rotated the right way. John Stones didn't have his best game, as I say. But let's talk about De Bruyne. This guy was incredible today, and I know a lot of people say I said he has to hold the bench. I still thought he has to hold the bench. I just feel, as much as we have sentiment, I just felt that maybe it's time for Foden to start cooking as the midfielder he is. But also, the reason why I was saying De Bruyne might hold the bench is because in this midfield, we're easily getting outrun when we go full-on attack and leaving Rodri around when Kovacic is not there, because that's the reason why Gundogan was important. But anyway, let me just say, KDB still showed most people that, I'm still here. I can still take charge of this City team. I can still score. But I'm just saying it wouldn't be bad for KDB to be an impact sub. It wouldn't, because players like KDB are very good at reading the game. Midfielders are very good at reading the game. And if people are still sitting back and we're struggling, he comes off the bench. He would help us unlock and score. So look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I said bench for him against Crystal Palace. I even wanted Haaland on the bench against Crystal Palace, but they prayed. But it doesn't change my opinion of what I was speaking about earlier on. I know a lot of people are very emotional, very sentimental. It's the same thing. David Silva reached a point in time where sometimes, yes, he had to just play less games. You have to also look after KDB. Today, it's good that he came on, looked sharp, is ready for Madrid. But let's not say that he can play every single game. As I said, I think that midfield, when we are playing most games regularly, has to belong to Phil Foden and Kovacic and Rodri holding in that midfield. But anyway, let me just ask Big UK as an Arsenal fan, what are your thoughts and honest opinions on KDB as an all-timer midfield in the Prem?
Wait, you're breaking up.
I was like, what are your thoughts on KDB being one of the great midfielders in the Premier League?
Like he's amongst one of the greats, considering the amount of impact like at Man City over this longevity. Like it's amazing. Like the amount of times he's made moments, especially when you've not been at your best, when scoring, whatever. Like he's amongst the, if I'm being real.
He is amongst the best. Okay, let me see. Pat, can Perinia come to City instead of I don't know, man. Perinia, I get it, but I think Bruno would be better because Bruno is better on the ball than Perinia. Perinia is more muscle. I would just clean up. I would rather have somebody who's also good on the ball because I've seen Bruno like assist. Bruno Guimaraes assist at Newcastle, and he's very nice on the ball. Varela is an option for the ball winning six. Yeah, you're right. And Rodri has to take yellows because there's no cover. That is true. If you get Bruno and move Rodri up, wouldn't it make more sense for KDB to start more than Ford in that position? It would. That's why I'm saying things change with the profile, Marvin. This team can change because of profile. At the end of the day, if Rodri becomes Gundogan, KDB can still play. That's why KDB played. It was Gundo, Rodri, KDB. It worked. But I'm just saying, don't sleep on Foden. I think this thing where we have to always put Foden in the wing because of KDB, it's going towards its end. KDB will always be KDB, but I'm saying Foden has to take the rings. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you very much, Big RUK. I hope you enjoy your game, man. What time is your game?
5:30 kickoff.
What time is the Brighton game, man?
Yeah, so like it actually starts at 5:30.
But thank you very much, guys.
5 o'clock they'll do the build up.
Oh, good grand, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and like the vid. If you're on Twitter, just retweet and like the link. But guys, enjoy your Saturday. I've enjoyed my Saturday. It was a 4-2 win by Man City against Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace has always been one of the teams that always end up doing something against us. It's a matter of timing, I guess, when the balance shifts from KDB to Foden. That is true. I don't get away from it. And you know what? Big up to Jack Grealish. As I said, big up to him. Big up to Rico Lewis. Ruben Diaz had a bad game. John Stones had a bad game, but we move. Ortega, big up to you. KDB, big up to you. Haaland, it was an okay game for him. Big up to Haaland for scoring anyway. It's good that he scored before Madrid game. It is what it is, man. Now let's just watch Brighton away versus Arsenal. I expect Arsenal to slap them. Let's watch United versus Liverpool. I expect to slap them. It's going to be an interesting title race. That's what we love. I'll see you guys on Spaces. Big up.